Greetings, my fellow travelers. The name of the base is Mar Azul Profundo. The pronunciation and possibly the spelling are incorrect, but are supposed to be, it's dependent on Google Translate, but it's supposed to be Spanish for deep blue sea. And I'm not going to visit that part of the base because, well, it hasn't changed. The water's still murky from Worlds 2. I removed the ramp at the entrance and put it there, for a reason that'll be obvious in a moment. And I removed the underwater landing pad. Put a landing pad there. More importantly, I've added a structure. The basic structure is done. And anyone who's seen my early videos, imagine this part past the tree is in a hill. Behind is a hill and the roof is flat. It's Vlindrel Hal. It's the same setup. Minor differences. This section here is paving stones as opposed to a wooden deck. It's ever so slightly off the ground, so everything else is a short wall above. And I haven't finished furnishing. This is the big difference. The wide staircase as opposed to the single staircase. Basically, when I first built the original, the narrow staircase would snap into place. There was no problems. There were no issues. Sometimes afterwards, they did something, they tweaked something, they changed something, they added something to the game. I don't know what, but putting small staircases became a nightmare. And I just didn't feel like being bothered. So that has changed, and consequently, the arrangement of the staircase has changed, and it has had a ripple effect. Obviously not furnished. Well, not furnished, but partially furnished. So this would be combination bar, storage, and what the fuck? Oh yeah, these are gallons drums, but for some reason they're not rendering properly. In the original, there would have been a door around here, and there would have been a cave and an emergency exit, and that's a non-issue. So, stuff top, counter for doing some work, microwave for reading stuff, storage. Probably gonna add a little stuff to it. Kegs, stove and stove top, fridge, menu thing, and auto chef in case somebody asks you for something weird. Now that I'm particularly happy about. The irony is the old one, the one on the left, has been placed over a new one because it kept wanting to sink into the wall. All right, sizable departure. 3 refiners, not 2 of the medium ones, because God knows the big one may come in useful. Now, the wings on top are a nuisance because while they're not visually above the floor, they're physically above the floor, for lack of a better word. Teleporter, slightly smaller, like maybe 90%, ever so slightly sunk into the floor. There's some paving blocks underneath to prevent you from falling into the tiny little floor. And this is the first huge difference. In the original Vlindrel Hal, this would be 1 floor up. So I lowered the floor to the level of one short wall down, simply to avoid having these guys, well, be through the ceiling. Mixed results. There's a, well, at this point not that new anymore, a lighting frame in the door frame. That's a galactic terminal, construction terminal, storage, and memory serves me right, that is the base recycling one. Security chief, because hey. And this one would be the antimatter one. So yeah, this is very new in the sense that it's literally in the basement, or the equivalent of the basement in the original base, and it's sunk down as opposed to the arrangement back in the original Vlindrel Hal, where the ceiling was 2 up. So while these guys were about 1 1/4 up, they created a space. There was a little bit of extra storage. And I haven't bothered with the power switch, but the idea is this thing gets thrown down, locked in place, and anybody who's teleporting in is stuck in a stone room. In the original Vlindrel Hal, the base computer was here, but base computer's in the bottom of the ocean, so not moving it. All right, so first big change. The original setup is, of course, in a copper deposit, dug out. There's a cave. This is a solid stone wall. There's rock shortly afterwards. But here we're on an island, so yeah. The arrangement of the sofa is forced on me by the large refiner, because I tried to put the sofa down and it was like floating about 2 feet off the deck. Or should I say down closer to the wall. Single seat thing for those people who really want to just watch the ocean. And that's more for gatherings. Now, in the original Vlindrel Hal, this would have been there, but with the staircase being half the size, the up section would be here on this side, starting there and going up here. Well, that's not happening. So instead of having a dance floor, large dining room, yeah, I'm gonna have to put a sofa down there for the entertainment section, or maybe just a couple of seats. This is pretty much same as before. Again, there was a hill there, so that the square wall was there. The triangular walls weren't, because, well, there was soil. There was sloping, and more or less. So a couple departures here, dictated by the fact that I decided to try, and I'm not sold on it, the sloping glass roof. I may just instead put a short wall on top, just raising the ceiling by the equivalent of 1 foot or 2, and then just do a flat roof. Oh yeah, this is quite different. Because of the half staircase thing, you'd come here, turn around, and go into the living room. There'd be a door here, and the bedroom would be 2 floors with a small sitting area and a TV. In this case, it's strictly a bed. Now, it would have been a stone wall because you're in the middle of a cave, you've got rock behind, but, well, why not? I mean, this took me over 45 minutes to do because old man reflexes. Bathroom is tentatively done. I couldn't quite place the flat metal panel, which is used for TVs and baths and pool tables, because, well, since there isn't a hill on the other side here, in order for it to be flush with that wall, it'd have to stick out that wall. Didn't look good. Yeah, that's gonna go. That's basically what I was using to make the plates 3 times the size. So yeah, I'm gonna have to reline this up a little bit better. TV viewing area. Trying not to cast too much shade on the section below. And this was dictated by the slanting roof, because originally the glass panel, this would have an L shape supporting, the glass panel. And that would have been the end of it. I really wish that they would, to go with the L shape, would be, a very narrow wall, sort of the equivalent of a short wall, but a narrow wall. But they don't. And, well. So yeah, this is Vlindrel Hal Mark II. And obviously I'm going to have to furnish it, and I'm rapidly coming to the conclusion that I really don't like the roof. What can I say, fellow travelers? I'm a hard man to satisfy. Cheers.